on walking. You gotta keep going on and on and on, yeah. And believing, oh yeah. Have faith, size of a mustard seed. Trust in God and just believe. It takes faith. Faith is. Oh, keep going. One foot in front of the other. Talk. Faith is. Over to hear pass of faith. That's what my mama told me. Faith is. Prayer's the key. I dare you to stop in the middle. But it's faith that unlocks the door. Faith is. Oh, yes, it does. You're almost there. You gotta keep on walking. Keep on walking. You gotta keep going on and on and on, yeah. And believing. Oh, yeah. Listen. Hold on. Don't let go. Inside of you, take it and walk through those open doors. Hey, baby. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to Raw, Restoring Awesome Warriors. I'm Jackie H, your host, and I'm here with my co-host, Gail Barron, the judge. Gail, how you doing once again?
I'm feeling fine, but I'm getting sleepy. It's getting late.
We had a long day,
Yeah.
and I don't understand that every time we want to do this, everybody start traveling. We're near the airport, and I had to remember the times that is. But we're just going to talk a little bit because someone asked us to please go ahead and talk. So I was going to wait till next week to see what we had to say, but just a little bit of what we was going to share tonight was about infections that is not addressed can cause amputation. Right? And what exactly do that mean, Gail?
Well, to give you an example, I can give you an example of Daddy when he was sick with diabetes. And you know, with diabetes, it can cause different things.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they tell us, like, to watch our foot cuts and different things because they can spread and get infected.
Right.
So Daddy used to have sores that became holes in between his toes.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I know he went to the doctor about it, but I don't know what else was done. But it got worse till he had to get his leg, went all the way up his leg, that infection.
Yeah.
And he had to wind up getting it amputated.
So before the holes, and um, there had to been some signs before it got to the holes, right?
Yeah.
And with most diabetics, us being diabetic, you kind of like some people lose their feelings
Right.
in their
Toes.
toes and feet, and they tell you to make sure you keep shoes and stuff on
Right.
because just
Right.
a little bump or hit because you don't feel and that sore. You sometimes you don't even know that you have anything on your feet because you don't feel.
Right.
So my point is, by the time it got to the hole, there was something he must didn't see before it got to that state,
Right.
and that can be life,
Mm-hmm.
where after a while, it's the big symptom, but it started from little things that
Right.
was ignored, or you didn't feel, or
Right.
you choose to not feel or take care of it,
Or numb,
or no, yeah,
numb to the pain, numb to sometimes in denial. But that's not good because by you not taking care of something,
hmm
whatever it may be, it can eat up.
right. So not addressing. Let's talk a little bit about not addressing things before it get to infection, before it get to that state. Because even if you get an infection, you can get
Antibiotics.
antibiotic, but then there was no cure for the point that he got to. Antibiotic didn't work, wouldn't work. It was at the point that something needed to be done.
Right.
You either lose,
Right.
use at that
Right.
point. But let's talk a little bit about bringing it down to real life. Of let's name some things or talk about some things that you can see the signs. You choose, or can choose not to address it or act like I don't see it before it get to that it's poisonous until it's infected. What are some things that you know of that we've been through where we wouldn't have had to go through that whole thing if we was just okay, we at that point.
Well, trust, broken promises, not keeping your word. So you may do it one time to me, and I don't address it.
Mm.
Um, so I give a hall pass for that one time,
Mhm.
but it keeps happening. So then it turns to something.
Mhm.
So when I couldn't address it when it first happened, why me letting it slide? It grew.
So what caused us to let it slide the first time, thinking that it would change or it would get better? Like if you see a sore, what makes us not address it or tend to it? Then it don't look big enough, or it don't look bad enough for you to even to.
Yeah, sometimes it probably at that moment you think that it'll get better,
Mhm.
but if you don't pay no attention, like even with getting your nails done, um, sometimes uh, the instruments they use or whatever, sometimes can your nails can be affected. But if you don't pay attention to it,
Mhm.
um, it can cause something else. Left undressed,
Yeah.
it can cause you losing your limbs.
So I had scars and stuff that I had sometimes, and I'm a diabetic. I'm just talking from that point that sometimes it's easier to just cover it, or it's just bleed a little bit. Let's get a band-aid. But you know your situation.
Yeah.
So is it not important to me at that time to address it then, knowing this thing? Because some
Sometimes,
people go through the same thing over and over and over. Like,
sometimes you don't know the danger. You know the impact that it can cause. Um, like when I go get needles, and they just wipe it with alcohol, and that be it. But if I don't pay attention, it's still bleeding. I gotta put something on it to stop the bleed because by me being a diabetic, and plus I have had a stroke. That's why even certain medicines I can't take because of a blood. I have a blood thinner,
mhm,
and so when you I can't afford to lose blood because along with the medicine and then me bleeding, no, you have to know and be mindful of your condition. If you know that you got a problem with trust, then it'll be hard for you at times to allow yourself to trust people. If someone have uh, violated your trust before or didn't keep a promise, then you become leery of others.
Well, how about the situation when you become numb to it? Where, okay, this, that's that. Because if it happened to you before and you bypassed it the first time, or you had a situation before, it might not have went all the way up to that you had amputation. But you practice, or you have a habit of, it don't have to be this bad this time. If I didn't trust you, or I had an issue with somebody causing me not to trust them, well, to build that trust back up, either I gotta
The person had
become
to,
numb to it,
or the person had to stop doing what they're doing.
but what if you don't, and I just keep on? That's how the soul. That's what we talk about. You keep on to it, it's become infection
Right. So
because you're ignoring it.
unaddressed. Right. It would make it bigger. So if you don't address it the first time, let's say the first or second time, then something else can set in. And then it'll make something else either become numb, desensitized, or all those feelings. It is amputation. Because if you can't trust me, after a while, our friendship is going to be cut off. That's what amputation is. Something got cut. And we lose stuff because of it not being addressed.
Well, how do you start addressing something? Some people just they think, or we think that maybe the next time you keep on having the next time. Some things I think even the first time, and
Right.
I'm gonna tell you something that I mean because this has had been something in my life, and I know a lot of people go through this when we talk about domestic violence and stuff like that. I've always had this thing: you raise your hand one time. That's not something you get a second time to
No.
do. Like there are some things you need to know. That was it. That one time before you even get to being affected or being the second time. But some people would say, "Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that." That happened. But if you see that somebody have a anger problem or something you need to understand about. If they don't get help for that, it will happen again.
Yes, it will.
They probably don't mean it. They can say, "No, I will never do that again." But if you haven't attended the anger, you will do it again. Some things will happen again. So I think it depends on what it is if you get a first and second time. Because if you don't take care of what you did the first time, it's repeated. That's how infection comes because it lingered or it went that long without you doing addressing it. So I think the important thing for anything, it depends on the severity of the wound. Of whether I'm going to address it the first time or address it the second time. Some people not, sometimes we don't address nothing at all until they get to the infection part. So you got to have a boundary of when, how, what's a no-no, what boundaries you set for certain things. Because I think that's what leads to the overness that you almost have to get cut off.
Well, it depends on, I won't say, because something might be small, but if it's a trigger to you, you need to address it.
That's what I said. It don't have to be the
Yeah.
second time. The first
Yeah.
time. So what makes why you say trigger? What would make something a trigger? Like when you can take something I can't, is it depends on the person, what's a trigger for you or
Yeah.
for an individual?
Yeah.
So what would be a trigger? Like give me a situation Okay, well, I just gave you one. Raising your hand at me, that's a trigger because I don't saw too much of that coming up with other people. So you don't have a chance to do that. That's a trigger when I see mistreatment. Somebody else, they done got slapped 17 times and it don't even bother them.
Any form, because to me, when you call me outside my name,
that's a trigger.
That's a trigger for me. That's the first sign of disrespect for me. When you don't call me Gail and you call me, oh no.
Is there a reason why that's a trigger?
Huh?
Is it a reason why that's a trigger? Something happened before. How do you know? How did that become a trigger? Like that happened to you and you just didn't like it, or what?
No, I've seen it display because you have to get to a level of anger for you to call somebody outside that. It's a tone with it. And so that's a red flag for me. Maybe not a trigger, but a red flag. Because
that won't lead you to an infection, but you're gonna address that right then.
We're not doing it. Because you can see
what if somebody don't know that's how serious that is to you. Maybe that's just their language. Maybe that's just how they grew up and they think it's okay. You know, like that, I'm gonna use our household how when we was raised. Daddy never raised his voice. Very seldom did I hear. I don't think I ever heard him argue. And I'm pretty sure he had something in him that made, but I never seen it. So the first time somebody hollered at me, I don't know if it was a trigger. I just didn't understand. I didn't know what that was. That's the way they was raised. Oh, it was a custom. They didn't call it something. You doing nothing wrong, so you just say this is something that bothers me. How do you address it? What's the address if you thought that was normal?
It's not the hollering.
No, even with a tone. If that's something they used to, how do what you need to say right then that what if they don't even with the tone they think that was cool because it was mad. So they use the tone.
But sometimes you can feel the underneath.
Not you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the person that did it.
Oh, I don't know what
you say. Address it. I'm asking you if that's somebody's norm, getting mad and popping off or whatever. What do you say if that's the norm? I don't know if my brother Alan watching, or I would say about him. You know how Alan answers you sometimes.
Yeah, his is different.
Well, to somebody else, it's not a difference. He has a tone with it. Huh? What? That might not be a tone to you, but that's a tone. But that's him. He's been ever since we've known him. That's what he does. So for somebody who don't know that could be who talks like that. It's a tone for somebody else. Your tone might be different from somebody else's tone. But I'm saying, do you address it then because that is something that bothers you?
Yeah.
You don't wait till the second time. Okay. But then there are some things you let go. There's some things we'll let go that should be stopped too. Because if it keep on, it builds up underneath. You know how you have a scab? You know, you let it bothered you, but it didn't bother you as much as this bothered you. But it's still building until one day is at that point. So I guess it's to each individual how you deal with it.
Everybody has something different. But I've always I don't mind yelling, because I did it. But
you yell? Leave it different. No, there's something that you just picked up, or that you didn't get that from growing up. So where you start yelling?
I don't know where it come from, but I'm gonna match you.
Okay.
I don't do it now. Now,
Well, what was you matching?
Whatever you came at me with, I was going to match you. Because I always felt.
Did that help the infection? Did it help you not to go infection because you matched that?
Because I've always had since a long time. Why? I don't know. And I felt when you yelled at me or you tried to degrade me, you was trying to intimidate me. And that I have no tolerance for. So people did things.
So if they keep on yelling, you'll cut them off.
Huh?
That leads to amputation. Cut them off. If somebody, if you address it and they keep on going, you cut them off.
Oh yeah, because you're not.
I know you matched it.
You're not gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah,
And don't try to downgrade me or make me. I know, not that I've experienced it, but I saw how others were treated, and I was going to fight for that thing. You wasn't going to do to me, and you wasn't going to do it to those in my presence, or like whether it was at my job. I always fought for when I knew leaders wasn't doing right by the people. I didn't like that.
So that caused an infection to you?
For me, it did, because I would get
aggravated.
Not so much aggravated, I would get angry.
Okay.
Because I felt like when coming up, you were taught to honor, whether they was older or whether they had held a position. But I didn't think that. I think that sometimes the position was misused, and that's why I'm sitting here with my right side stroke. So that's why I can't go without saying nothing now. I tried it the other way of not, but it was on the inside. The day I had my stroke, I was furious with my boss. So I know if it's unaddressed, if that affected, because it had been going on for a long time. But that one day shifted everything. That last day, because I had enough. If it goes undressed, it demands amputation.
Well, just speaking to that, I don't know if you get that. I try not to listen to the news too much of things, but you see a lot of things going on, mass shooting, mass killing, this thing. And I wonder how many of those people is reacting out of something that wasn't addressed.
You ain't being heard.
It turned so bad that you just end it all. You just want to cut everything off.
Yeah, especially if you feel you ain't heard, people ain't listening, they don't understand you, like you got a voice. It's something I need addressing. I need you to hear me. And if you don't, some people snap. I know that's the first time that I felt myself snapping.
So just to be fair, as we're talking to others about before I get to the amputation, you know how sometimes you go to the doctor, you know something is wrong, but you didn't even know it had turned to an infection.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Because before you get to amputation, which led to a whole nother series of problems, because his spirit, when it was every cutoff, is not good.
Yeah. You know, and it could have been saved too.
It could have been saved. So that's a divorce. That's losing a loved one. That could be losing your job. Some things don't even having a stroke. They don't even have to get to that point. if you knew what the stage was of the infection.
Mm-hmm.
So to have preventive maintenance or preventive strategy of before you get to that point, what do one need to understand about themselves? Like, did you know how serious that was? I know you didn't like it, but did you even know that a stroke was on the other end of it?
I didn't.
So hindsight, looking back, you would have did what to prevent
I would have expressed
your feelings
my my feeling. I would have talked more
instead of holding it in?
instead of holding it. And sometimes I held it in because I thought, as a superior or whatever a position, you should know better. But I come to find out that this wasn't true. Just because you're holding a position, don't mean you know or understand what you're doing.
So a position can be a mother, a father, a teacher, a
A
supervisor, a
supervisor,
co-worker,
yep,
a brother, a sister, uh, leadership in church. It can be anyone that when you don't understand what you do to people
right,
or understand that even on the other side of that recipient, you don't even know what state they're in
right.
to receive.
I often tell you about when I was a property manager at a transitional house. I was a property manager, but we had supportive service. And they wanted me to mandatory the residents to come to their classes because I was law and order. But you didn't understand. You wanted them to come to your classes, which was college classes. But the population you had, they couldn't even read. I don't like intimidation because they want to do what you say. You want me to force it because I'm the property manager. I don't like that.
Okay, I get that you don't like it, but there was no reckoning that they didn't understand that this is not that population for that. They wouldn't even hear like there
No,
was okay. So
no.
sometimes people can have an in between or go between to before they get to that. I can understand somebody don't even want to listen. That's how most of these things happen.
Because for me, it's selfishness all the way around. You see what you want, you see, and you act on what you want done to you, not considering those around or attached.
Well, what if this saying? What if that's the only way you know if it was done to you? Because hurt people.
You're right. You're right.
So they probably don't even think that was something
Right.
that you were
So
doing.
my position in it, hindsight,
Yeah.
I should have said something instead of, huh?
Instead of get angry.
Instead of get, but I didn't know you didn't know. I
Okay.
That wasn't a thought of mine
Yeah, okay.
to even think that you didn't know. Because you got this position, I thought it comes with knowing.
So educating ourselves on the severity of the wound. This is the reason why we're talking because it would be a thought before we went through it. Who if you was the boss, I think you know everything. Nobody told me that, but that would be assumption that if you're in charge, you should know. But that goes with everything in life.
Right.
You know, you was a new mother. Why would I assume that you knew everything? Why would anybody think that? But that's the thought process. I don't know where it come from, but I think when people see someone in charge, you just automatically
Automatic
assume
think. Mm-hmm.
that, you know. And I know there's a lot of things I started, even in I can go back to starting my own business and running a restaurant. I didn't know that you could just like to cook and didn't need to have
Right.
building. So
Right.
you don't know.
Right.
And there's there's little things that cause someone else the infection was that I had a lot of people who needed jobs
Right.
off of my ambition.
Right.
It's just some things I'm not thinking about all that. I'm
Right.
trying to do me.
Right.
You come
You
along.
just trying to have fun.
I'm just trying to have fun. Come on, let's do this. There's something I love to do. But you don't even know what you cause. You cause
Right.
someone to go into something because that was their hope.
Right.
So,
right. And then when you cut it off, where it leave them?
And then you want to say something about, well, you know what? I can't believe they doing this or they go. Well, what just happened to them is devastation. But we're talking about it now because somebody can look at everything from a different angle.
Yeah.
Because everybody's not trying to be funny. Everybody's not like I found that out about abusers. You know, I'm trying to figure out. Would you like for somebody to hit you in your eye like that? Like that was my thought because I saw someone hurt, but it never dawned on me that this is that person that was holding their ears because they saw someone abused. So instead of getting help, it turned in you start doing it. You're abusing it.
Right.
But that wasn't the thought process I had that you got a problem. Never, So now it makes me think everything through because the amputation can come because of ignorance.
Right. Right.
And which you don't know.
Right.
I thought that was just
loss, that impact, you know the impact by the aftermath. Because if it's no thought, you don't need to know the damage that you do.
That's why conversation and talking is so important because people like myself, you just go through life and you make it. It's called a patch job. Put the Band-Aid on. What's under that Band-Aid? After a while, you're not going to need a Band-Aid. You're going to need a patch. Because the bigger, it start off something little and it's not as big, but it's not a thought that this was going to be amputation. Because I know if Daddy, just going back to that same thought of having your leg cut off, much as I know that man loved to do, I think if he would have saw that first sore,
yeah,
or the first thing that went wrong, you would have fixed it.
Address it. Have you ever inherited problem and pressure is put on you?
Give me an example.
Well, I always give an example of my job, and I think that's why, not just my job, but it's just the way why I feel about unaddressed stuff. When I first became a property manager at the new property, it was a gentleman there that hadn't paid his rent in 3 years. And when they was introduced,
3 years? Haven't paid rent in 3 years?
3. And so the day that it was taking me around, showing me the property, the first thing they told me was to evict him. And I didn't think that was fair because I'm just starting. I didn't even know what the man looked like. And you want me to evict him? And then I felt like you had so many managers before me. So how did he get to 3 years without paying rent? But then you want to put that pressure on me.
So what could be the reason that he went through
I
several
don't know.
managers?
I have no idea.
He was scared to evict him?
I don't know.
Like, that's what I'm saying. I know the pressure's on you to do it now, but did they tell you, like, because some people let you walk into things knowing that it was a problem. And sometimes fear calls them not to do their job, but they put it on someone else to do the job.
But 3 years?
3 years.
I don't know. And that was the first thing they told me to do. not anything else. The first thing you got to get rid of him. I thought it was so unfair. But when things are not addressed, things happen. So when I knocked on his door, he told me, I thought you was coming to put me out. I said, no, come on down to my office and let's talk. I didn't even know the man, but you gave me a command. So what I'm saying, somebody left it unaddressed.
Right.
But I had to, they wanted me to evict. That's the amputation. That's a cutting off.
But in my mind, as I think now, what was their problem?
I don't know.
I know you don't know, but what I'm saying, everybody have it. They don't just start with you.
I know.
They put it on you. But now it makes me think, why wasn't it there? And sometimes you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people who, or cases where people's in a situation and they won't talk up.
Right.
That's part of your job.
Hindsight, I think about it.
I know.
But when you're going through things, and especially when they call it rapid fire, like you get out of one thing, you into another. If it's not addressed, somebody's going to lose. You can even lose out. Because stress alone.
And I always think something different. What I just said, you got people, I don't even know how I got the 3 years, because sometimes when I don't pay my electric bill for 2 months, they want to cut it off. I don't know how you got the 3 years going.
I don't.
You know,
but I've always been put in situations that wasn't addressed prior.
I get it. But then you got to look at why it wasn't addressed. You just angry because it wasn't addressed and it happened to you. But if you could step back for a minute.
Now I can.
Yeah, that's why we're talking.
But going through it?
No. That's why we went through it. Because we did think. And it wasn't. You wouldn't be sitting here today in that condition if you could thought of. But this is how we're helping others. You have to think. Because at the end of the day, it can fall on you to have the issue.
Yeah.
Right? So when 3 years already, I don't know, I'm just using this as an example. If nothing's addressed, they don't know if the person was having problems, or they might have known they were having problems, was just scared of him. So all these things come into play, and somebody else gets depression. But they could have sent you to do that, and you could have been harmed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's worth thinking about when it's little. You should have caught him when it was 2 months behind.
1 month.
1 month.
Because that's the policy.
Okay.
1 month, not 3 years.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's not millions. That's zillions.
That's what?
Zillions. You know how somebody said that's a lot of money to owe for 3 years. Like I don't know what the rent was.
But it seemed like I always. So this is my fight, because I have so many things that I feel that were infections that wasn't addressed.
Okay, that's on their side. So I'm asking you now, what do you do different that it don't become a problem to you?
That's what I'm saying. Now I don't do like I usually. Before I would shut up and I would just try to figure it out to get it done.
So now you talk.
Now I talk because I've been recipient of so much ignorance.
And you have anger.
You think I do?
I'm just asking.
I don't have it. I may sound like that because it's after the fact. It's after the fact because after the fact, this was just a nonsense. But I didn't feel that going through because.
So today you're better.
Huh?
In this time of your life, you're better.
This time of my life, I'm better because I got a clear head. Because some things I just didn't understand. even in church,
Mhm.
I lost a lot because of what they said to me. Like, I had this Jeep. I love that Jeep. I could have kept the Jeep if I would have went and got another job. I had been laid off, but the preacher told me, don't God said he was going to take care of it. And they had me dancing on keys, my keys in the where your keys at? And put them in the middle floor. Everybody danced on them. That was supposed to have been a sign that that Jeep was going to be okay. I got up one minute and that Jeep was gone.
On that, just because you didn't call me, you didn't seek professional or help for that.
But at that time of my life, I just believed.
I get it, but that's not somebody else's fault.
I
I said it's all. It's everybody has a part to play because if you knew better, you would have did better. The person who said it probably, if they knew better, they would have did better. It's
yeah. So
everybody has a thing in this. But if somebody don't wake up and say, the one who telling me this got an issue. No, because it
but
comes
you don't
down.
know now. I
I
do.
know that's why I keep on saying we're talking now because of what happened, things that happen. So now I can tell somebody if you're behind in your car payment and you lose your job, you either go make a deal with the car dealer or you go get a job. It's not putting and somebody gonna probably be it's probably gonna offend somebody who got faith.
Yeah.
And it only happens to if you tell them to go do the same thing, they have feelings too. Because everything don't work like that.
It doesn't. It
And
doesn't.
we didn't know.
It doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. So I went back to this same thing. If I knew that sore was going to cause amputation, I would have took care of the sore. I would have went to work. I would have asked some help. Could you help me with my payments for a couple months until I get a job?
Mhm.
But you didn't come to me. I don't know where I was at that time because I would help you dance off of. I would pick them keys up and say, "Look, which you need." No, sometimes you need help. Is Daddy went through that. I'm just going back to the thing because of something he didn't know seriously about that disease. And sometimes when you don't know triggers, when you don't know anger problem, when you don't know that don't make sense, you learn as you go. So that's why we're
Yeah.
talking about some of the things we did under belief. How about the time that your money? We ain't told that.
Which one?
The person that took you behind the building, right? We ain't gonna talk real long tonight. We got to go home. But I don't know if we need to end with that story. But the night title is infections that it goes unaddressed can cause amputation. It can cause you to lose, and we can put it in other words. That's just a fancy title,
Yeah.
but ignorance,
Yeah.
lack of knowledge,
Yeah.
all of that can cause a buildup, and you get mad because you don't know.
So let me tell you this one more story.
Oh,
No,
this something I know, or is this
I don't know if you do it, but it's all my property management
but
experiences. So we were not getting paid from the government. They owed us a lot of money for this apartment complex. And nobody could understand. This was before the internet. Remember when we had the modem, the dial-up modem?
Mhm.
And we were scrambling, trying to find how can we get paid because well, the operation funds was depleting and we get paid by what comes in. And we hadn't been paid for a while. And so one day I decided because uh, you submit uh, through the modem, and I filed the invoice for payment, and I submitted it. The computer rang, I heard the modem, but I never got the return. So one day I got on the floor and just trying to figure out how it was working. I didn't actually know at the time that even with the modem, it was a dial up. How was it transmitted? Because we didn't have internet. It was transmitted through the phone, right? That's how you got the dial up through the phone.
Mhm.
When I got on the knees, I saw the phone jack, but it was no cord plugged into it. So you heard the modem, but it wasn't going nowhere.
For how long?
It was a while.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I traced it back to the computer. I found the phone line, the phone jack, and I plugged it into the wall, and the money started hitting the bank. No,
No, I'm not laughing.
So
I'm not laughing at the situation because sometimes it just takes just that thing or whatever that is to not cause an infection.
yeah, so
You always cut off from money. You got families, you working, nothing. But that little thing was the connection to.
but we heard the modem.
You heard it?
We
Okay.
heard the dial up.
Wow.
But I guess it was nothing to say.
Is it plugged up?
It the transmission come through the phone line because we didn't have internet.
But did y'all, not even about it being plugged up, did you know that's how it works? Whether it was plugged up or not, did you understand that it went through the phone line? You know how when you troubleshoot everything. You just said you was on your knees trying to figure it out then. Was it an understanding how things was transmitted?
That's what made me get on my knees.
But this is after what? Okay.
I ain't
All
gonna
right.
talk about that.
We're going
But
to, well, I'm just trying to tell people how long you can go through something because the right thing or not doing the right thing, something that could have been cut off right now or couldn't even with that level. Because I'm
yeah,
pretty sure if y'all had families, you needed your money.
we went for it.
It's okay. You don't have to tell the time. You don't have to tell because this is too. Because I got one more story. Like that's dancing on keys. That's the modem and transmit. I would be done after you tell this next story. We could just get
What
on
next story?
going behind that building. We have a lot of fun here. So, our point is before it get to amputation, before it get to that devastation or that end part, sometimes you need to back it up and let's deal with the little problem
Right.
before it get infected
Yeah.
and before it turns into that. Because sometimes if you can catch it before
Right.
all
Right.
these stages,
Right.
and sometimes you know the stages. That's the you know when your marriage or your relationship is headed for divorce. You know when your job you sit there and told the boss off. You know when it's headed. Even if you don't understand, you understand. You understand a lot that you don't think you understand. It might not be a thought because it can be clouded by different things. I don't have time to take care of this sore right now, so just patch it up.
Right.
But you can't keep on doing, sometimes the answer is simple.
Right.
But it takes a thought process. And sometimes you can be mad at the government or we ain't getting our money when here it is all that time. So sometimes sometimes you gotta walk backwards
That's
or
right.
walk forward, walk sideways to get it done. So
And I had stacks of reports that said to someone that don't know, I submitted all these payments because I got the report printout.
But it wasn't going nowhere.
No money. It wasn't going nowhere.
Lesson? What's the lesson? No, we're talking to people. So what's the lesson in?
Like you said, backtrack and then ask questions. To
Troubleshoot.
We started off talking about trust, so that makes me not trust things that people say. Have you proven it?
Mhm.
I'm from Missouri. You have to show me because I'm tired of taking people's word. It sounds good, but my friend would say, "But then what?"
Yeah.
And I'm tired of the hypeness
Yeah.
in everything. Well, where's the proof?
Yeah. And I'm about that with so much that I try not to be negative, but because of, like you said, what you go through in life, um, uh, I learned that about prayer. I learned that about a lot of things that um, if you don't understand what happened to me, you won't understand why I say what I say. Because I always believed there was answers. Some things you don't have to go through if you just think about what you said or what you're seeking. Like I heard T.D. Jakes say one a long time ago when I was watching the thing, he was saying he was tired of praying for people that asked him to pray for their weight loss. It's nothing but control your mouth,
Right.
get in the gym. It's that simple before amputation. It's that simple before disaster. You don't have to have high blood pressure. Get off the
Right. Right.
So you got me praying
Mm-hmm.
for something that was just do this, just do that. And a lot of times I've lost and people are losing a lot when it's just think about it. Think about we're using diabetes for a reason because there's instruction, there is what you call it, side effects and things that you already know if you read about the disease.
Right.
You don't have to wait to amputation. You should know this up here.
Right.
You want to keep on eating the cake?
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep on doing the sweet potato pie? You want to do the fried chicken? Okay. But it's not that you don't know. There are some things people don't know. You don't know that this come down through your line.
Right.
Whatever that is that you need to know, that you don't always have to be cut off.
Right.
You don't have to keep losing.
Right.
People have lost good jobs. People have lost good people in marriage, relationship, work, everything because you just didn't figure it out up here.
Right.
So that's, to me, let's think about what we're doing because you don't have to keep losing. He didn't have to lose it. They been we kept telling him, you can't have that pound cake. You no, he loved pound cake. He didn't know at this time he still had his legs. He didn't know the sincerity of what Michael and them kept saying. You got to slow it down. You got to slow, but somebody else knew ahead of you, but you didn't know. But the after effect of him losing, I saw the spirit leave him because of it. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's just pay, troubleshoot, ask, like you say, seek. And sometimes the things we're going through, it don't have to be a cutoff. It don't have to be a cutoff. So if there's anything you're dealing with today that you think is at the end, because if you don't get to the cutoff, you just could keep repeating. Right. That's it. Anything you just keep going through the same.
And that's
thing.
Insanity. They keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
You don't think it's insanity. You think changing partners or changing diets or changing jobs. You take you wherever you go.
That's right.
Right. So if you don't figure it out that I need to figure this out or figure something out and help someone else figure it out, yeah, you just keep going through the same thing. Till one day it's going to be a disaster.
Get off the merry-go-round.
Yeah. But that's what I used to tell you about when we used to read that Bible, the scripture of them Israelites wandering for 40 years. Mm-hmm. And one day it just came to me to ask, did they see that same mountain?
or that same tree, if you wander around the mountain, it's it for 40 years. Something you had to see twice in 40 years, you probably saw
Yeah.
it 100 times, And nothing say, let's go different, let's do something different. I'm learning at this age, I'm just doing something different.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
tired of just keep losing
Yeah.
or keep going around a circle and trying to figure out. And like a lot of people pay a lot of money for uh, to go to therapy when you can just stop.
Oh,
Oh, sometimes it's just that easy. Get on your knees and find the plug.
right. Right.
Excellent question.
Right.
So we started late, Gail, but it's always a pleasure of talking and just sharing of some things that happen to us. It's not a blame game because most of the time, if you would have knew yourself, we could have did better if we knew better. So I don't want to withhold what I've gathered and learned in my life if it can help someone. Sometimes just sharing the story,
Yeah.
embarrassing as it can be, or crazy it sounds, but if it can help someone to not do the same thing. So for all of us that's diabetes, all of those who done went through 3 marriages, all those who have lost 4 houses, it's sometimes when you look at it, it's the same situation. It was that same infection. It just keep popping back
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Either you're gonna cover it, and let me just share a little bit of what you can cover it with. Because most of the time, the only thing we think is people who is alcohol or they go to drugs. Well, it's more patches than just those two things. Sometimes you can just find the same person over and over and over.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can just put yourself into one of my friends. Only thing I do is just go to the gym all day. What is that fixing? That's a past job. I just turned into just go singing all day. Some people just go to church all day. Some people just you find something to cover instead of dealing with the
Fix
issue.
it. Fix it.
It's sometimes just stop and just say, if I want to do this, if I want to go to gym, I'm going to gym because I want to go to gym, not because I'm trying to duck something or hide from something. Because when you come back, it's the same. I'll let you have the departing words. Thank you all for listening. Sorry that we're so late, but you see, no airplane came past. So I'm figuring that it's after 8 o'clock or after 7:30 that they died down, or whatever the busy time for the airport. But man, it be around 6:30. It's just start. It's one airplane after the next. So thank you for bearing with us and giving us the opportunity to just share again. So I'll leave you.
I think this is your therapy.
This is my therapy. I think next week I'm gonna broadcast from the couch. This is therapy. Because if I would have missed it, sometimes they say tell you not to miss too many classes. Because I was gonna wait till next week to just do it. But sometimes the more I talk, I help myself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just go in a circle, and you know you're going in a circle. But okay, you remember one of Tyler Perry, Medea movie? He always say something that's profound. And he was looking at that lady's shoes that was run over, and he said that come from going in a circle twist. It's like sometimes you think of stuff, but that means she was leaning over, going in the same, so her shoes was messed up. But he said that come from going in a circle. So sometimes you cause your shoes to be run over. You cause people. You cause your family to hurt. You can cause people to be in a state because of you. Keep going in a circle. So if I'm helping other people to not go in a circle, then I got to come out the circle. Right? That's my part of it. Go ahead. You on the couch now, because you got a lot of stories to tell. You know what? Every time we come on, I want you to tell a past story. Okay, I done heard 2 tonight. I'm gonna let you off with the next one, but you got to tell it because somebody's going through the same thing, and they don't know. They don't know that that's a circle.
And not only that, I'm realizing the root of why you could be angry. Because it's something keep it could be different but the same. Going same thing keep happening over and over. And you can have a pet peeve but no voice. My voice is because I thought that the people that were telling me this knew what they were talking about. In my heart, I felt I, I, I can do something different. But because of the position you was in, I thought you had the authority. So I believed what you said.
Well, like I said, I'm sorry you didn't come to me and get.
You probably
If
wasn't nowhere
I
around.
would, I wasn't, because that's why I wasn't nowhere around, because I wasn't gonna go in a circle. Anyway,
But I'm glad. I'm glad that
I'm glad you went through it so
I
we can
went through
talk to
it.
other people.
Yeah.
But it's something that's junk ain't even funny though.
It's not when
It's not.
even thinking
Sis.
back at it in hindsight, but
Mhm.
David said it's good to our facility
Okay.
because I come to know you
No.
won't get me to do that no more.
And just remember, family, friends, God gave us a mind to think. He was a creator. We was made in his image. And sometimes because of what we think, we give our rights and we give things over. I respect you. I respected mommy and dad as our authority over us. But that don't mean what she's saying that they don't mean they was always correct.
Right, right,
You're innocent as a
right.
child. You don't know. Or sometimes people just don't know. But this is why we are taught now, do as the Bereans do, you know. So we have to tell people, sometimes you need to find out stuff for yourself.
Right,
Seek God for yourself.
right,
Ask questions for yourself. Don't always want to be spoon fed because
Right.
somebody told me.
right,
Sometimes they telling you stuff and they know they didn't make it out of it. No, I've had people tell you some miracle story that they didn't even try. Sometimes with somebody else's story, they repeated. They never saw this stuff that they told you. I'm pretty sure the people who had you doing some of this stuff, they never even tried it. Because I think if they would have lost, they wouldn't have told me that. So evidently you didn't try that and lost, you didn't lose nothing. It's just like some people, they tell you about healing. And then they be quiet after they lose somebody. Well, either you believe it or you don't. But sometimes we are telling people stuff that we haven't
Going through ourselves.
went through ourselves. Not that you don't want to have faith, but every situation didn't make it out, or every situation didn't come out glamorous. So I question everything now, and I get in trouble for it. But it ain't too much you're gonna fool me up on a lot now with different things because I done been there, done that, and I'm saying you have a right. You don't question God, but I fleece Him. That's why I do that a lot because of what we've been through. You have a line to go to Him to ask. Some things don't even sound right. Jumping on my keys, what, you know, listening now to that. Now back then, we didn't know no better. We didn't go, and sometimes that's why I say ignorance, because we didn't go out to a lot of churches. When we was coming up, we went to one church. I wasn't used to. We didn't do that in our church. We didn't do a lot of things, but that wasn't something that was just so. It probably sounded great. It probably sounded believable. But
So-
sometimes the ignorance or the lack of knowledge caused a lot of things we did too. So educate yourself, learn, ask God 30 times instead of two. No, it sounds like I'm being funny, but before I jump on or do something, I'm going to ask because there's not too much you can tell me these days. All right, Gail?
Or
Okay,
I'm not there anymore.
I know you ain't there no more. But
I-
anyway, I know you're not there no more.
I was reading today where it said, "My sheep know my voice,
Mhm.
and the stranger." And when I followed a lot of strange voices because I didn't know. But now he said, "I know mine, and they're known of me. And when he calls his sheep, he called, although it's a whole lot of people, whole lot of sheep, calls them by their name. So once
Okay.
God manifested himself to me, or you ain't got to worry about hiring.
Okay. Well, we on our way out of here, so I want to put you to a test. I'm gonna put you to the test, and we're gonna say good night to the people. Gail. Gail. You
Yeah,
said
yeah,
you know the shepherd voice.
yeah.
You answer?
Am I answering?
Yeah.
Well, you called my name, so obviously,
Okay.
you know
So
some, you know
the
something
vo-
about me.
Okay, so you know the voice.
Yeah, I know it's your voice.
All right. So the next time you want to perform some miracle, and I call you, know the shepherd's voice. Know the voice. Okay. We're gonna get out of here, people. We always have fun, but she didn't know my voice. See, that's what I'm saying. So, see, we're gonna be tricked again because I called her 3 times. um, oh God. Good night, and just remember, love
Love
God,
God,
love family,
work
work
hard,
hard,
and
and be
kind.
kind. And I can add one: know the voice, know the shepherd's voice.
So follow no stranger.
Don't follow the stranger. Gail, Gail, can't answer it again. Good night, everybody.
What you invested in me. I believe, God. I believe. What you put down on the inside. What you invested in me. Told me I need a little more faith. You go with me to reach my destiny. Open up my mouth, Lord. You speak through me to reach my destiny. I've gone too far now. I believe I can't turn around. What you invested in me, I'm gonna keep on going. I believe, keep on singing. What you invested in me, can't turn around now. Open up my mouth, Lord. I'm walking in my destiny. You speak through me. I need a